Hey, what's going on, my people? Welcome to another episode of Hold Up and Another Things presented by Mixed Vibes Media. As you know, I am Mr. Bell. I gotta like I said, like season four here, I'm continually stepping out of my friends list, the people in my contacts. I'm getting to reach out and have conversations with different people. So by today, I am lucky to be joined by an author and a life coach. So I'm gonna say William John, and then can you pronounce your last name for me?
I sure can. It's Scheltema.
Scheltema. Okay, that sounds a lot easier. You know, sometimes when you read last names, they seem harder, but when somebody pronounces it for you, it's a
Yeah,
lot. Scheltema. Okay.
yeah.
Like I said, pre-pod. I want to say it on the pod. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad to be here.
All right, we in different countries, so you are in Canada, correct?
I am in Canada. I'm in the province of Ontario, about 2 hours west of Toronto.
Okay. Like I told you, I'm planning to visit Canada next year. It's been everybody asks me what's your goal. I said I want to take my son to see Canada. I want to take my son to a different country.
Hmm.
So honestly, the first question I got to ask: how does Canadians feel about Americans?
Well, I can only speak for myself. Growing up, I always had this sense of awe and wonder about America and the Americans, people living in the States, because anytime that I did visit, it was a wonderful experience. Everyone was very welcoming and they were very interesting, very different. I mean, the accents for sure caught my ear as a young boy. And, watching TV, that's where, most of the actors and actresses I watched came from. They were Americans, Hollywood and California or Florida or New York. And so there was this wonderment I always had. Now it's your country seems to be going through a lot of turmoil and pain, and I feel that we're going through some of our own as well. And so my heart goes out to everyone that lives south of the border, because we all have lives, we all have hearts, and we all have desires and dreams, and many of those dreams have been shattered. And I've always had, high regard for anyone that's from the States.
Like you are correct, most definitely. We are going through a lot of turmoil, and we going. I feel like it's going to be a changing of the guard soon.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
feels
whether I don't know whether to be excited about that or be concerned.
well. Change for me, change is always good because there's always the opportunity of something new and fresh and good can come out of change. It's living on that edge and living in the unknown that is scary, and you can apply that to your own personal life too, not just on the world stage. But yeah, not knowing what tomorrow brings as far as a government or our leaders, that can be scary, but change is good.
Well, correct. Change can be good. Um, I'm a big guy, so let me ask you: what is some? I'm like I said, I'm trying to get there. What is some of the food that I have to try once I cross the border?
Once you cross the border, poutine.
Is I tried those here. Is it different?
It's it originated in, I believe, in the province of Quebec, which is east of Ontario, like Montreal and Quebec City. That's the province of Quebec, and it's curds, cheese curds, and gravy and French fries. I've never had it in the States side, but it's pretty good here. And so when you're here, that's one of the things you can try. Another one are beaver tails. It's like a deep fried meat that's been kind of almost like a schnitzel. Um, yeah,
Beaver
and
tails.
always doing the regular visit to Tim Hortons for your coffee and donut or bagel.
Yes, I definitely heard of those. You speak though. I know we talked about thanks. You had Thanksgiving yesterday in Canada, correct?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Do you, like here, we have our traditional turkeys and hams and the stuffing.
Mhm.
What is the traditional meals for Canadian Thanksgiving?
Well, it isn't too far off. We'll do
Okay.
in our household. It was a spiral honey ham, glazed honey ham. It would be turkey for sure. It would be cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, your assortment of vegetables, squash, and the dessert was always an apple crisp or a pumpkin pie or something of that like that. Those were the staples.
Okay, okay. Uh, I'm not a ham fan myself. I love the turkey. I love turkey, and I love my family. We have a lot of fried chicken. My aunt makes this beautiful corn pudding.
Oh, nice.
I look forward to Thanksgiving every year. And she's already throwing the jokes about how she's not gonna make her corn pudding. I'll be like, well, if you're not gonna make it, I'm not coming. This is
Yeah.
why. This is why I'm here. I can eat at home if that's the case.
Yeah, food's an important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love being around my family, and I love the gathering because that's important. But for
Mm.
Thanksgiving, I'm coming for one reason and one reason only, and that's the corn pudding. If it ain't there, I ain't coming.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. So you also a life coach. Let's transition to that. What made you go down that path of being a life coach?
Well, it wasn't one I was expecting to go down. Sorry, my throat. I got something in my throat. I was in a relationship quite a few years back, and the son of the woman I was in a relationship with that I was dating was struggling with a girlfriend. He was 23 years old, university student, and he just couldn't figure her out. He was getting frustrated, and he just didn't know what to do. And so she encouraged me, and my girlfriend at the time encouraged me to have a sit down and have a heart to heart with him, and he was open to that. And so we had a really good conversation about dating and women and expectations, and just how to be in a relationship, and just how to be and be present, and how to communicate. And once we were done, we had a couple of conversations, and both times he said, man, you should be a life coach or relationship coach because you've helped me so much. And it was so good to hear what you had to say. And you spoke honestly, and you were direct and real, and you really appreciated it. And so after those two events, speaking with him, I seriously decided that I'm going to go down this road, and pursue this, and see what else I can do and who else I can help, and be a part of in their growth in their life.
Okay. What is a key for you being a life coach? Is it being direct? Is it being honest? Or does it change for the person?
Um, what doesn't change from person to person is really learning how to listen and paying attention, because it's not so much about what I'm going to say to them or what I might want to present to them with a thought or an idea. It's helping them see that what the answer they're looking for is within them, and it's helping them to have the clarity and the ability to go there themselves where they don't need me as a coach any longer, so that they can begin to really live their life. And instead of always turning to a life coach, they can figure it out themselves, because we all are able to do that. But it's tricky, and it can be confusing and scary when we start to face some of the big things in our life that we don't really want to address. So for me, it's listening is primarily the main central focus that I walk in with, and showing them, or conveying to them as we talk and share and are open in honesty, and also, yes, definitely being direct and being truthful. It's like, you have everything you need within you, and let's find it. Let's figure this out together, and get you to that place where you can take it, and you have the tools, and away you go.
I definitely agree. I, Listening is a key. I would think that to guide or to help anybody, you got to know what they're going through to see how you can help them instead of just trying to preach to them about what you can do or what you will do
Oh,
or
yeah.
how I do it this way. Listening to them and see your best way of helping them makes a lot of sense. So when speaking to these people and you're giving advice, let me ask. Let's move forward towards the dating advice and the dating advice towards a guy.
Yep.
What advice do you give guys to start out in the dating process, in the pursuing process, the pursuing of the woman?
Well, one of the things I try to instill in men is that they need to know who they are as men. Otherwise, they will look for a woman or look for things in the relationship to take care of them or fulfill the needs that create an unhealthy relationship. And a man that knows who he is and is on the road of knowing more completely who he is, he will avoid a lot of those pitfalls and issues where he he won't be needy because he knows who he is. He won't have issues with self-esteem because he understands who he is. And so when a woman begins to maybe vent or be very emotional, he's able to stand his ground and allow that to happen and realize that he's strong enough to be there and he doesn't have to own what she's expressing because it's something that she's going through. So that's a really big one, is knowing who you are, so that when you actually meet a woman and you start dating, you can actually present yourself to her and not some idea of what you think you are to her, like some kind of a front. We create these personas, and the persona gets us into trouble because eventually the persona starts to fade and then the true person comes out. So I don't know if that answered your question, but um, and a lot as far as the pursuing goes, when a man does know himself, the then the masculine within him begins to is activated in a way that allows the feminine, the woman, to be attracted to that man, and he doesn't really necessarily have to do anything as far as the pursuing goes. Just his full sense of his grounded nature as a man is attractive enough, but the pursuing is that attentive listening, that open heart communication. And a lot of times we misunderstand what pursuing is, that we're actually actively going after them. But you can be pursuing a woman sitting down and listening to her with an open heart. And when she senses that you actually are hearing her and you're engaged and you're present, that is powerful. And that will draw a woman closer to you. So that is another way of looking at pursuing, which isn't typically seen as pursuing, but I believe it is.
Right? It's you ain't always got to be on the attack. Sometimes you can allow the process to come to you, or be in the situation, and it develops naturally. That be a correct way to
Yeah.
characterize that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not trying when you know who you are as a man, you don't have to try. You're simply being yourself. And which includes being present and taking care of her, creating the safe space, being honorable, being a man of your word, all those things. If you walk in that way in your life, then it will happen naturally, and you don't have to try anything extra. You don't have to pull out any kind of tricks that a lot of guys might try to hang on to a girl or to get her attention, because the energy of a man that knows himself and that confidence that he stands in is powerful enough to draw the woman to him, or at least to recognize that this man is different, and that she wants to engage with this person to find out, who is this man? There's something different about him. I sense an energy that's really strong and very grounded and very clear. And that's really attractive because a lot of men are confused and they're hurting. And a lot of them have a mother complex where they want the girlfriend to kind of mother them and do all of these things for them. But that's not a relationship. That's not healthy at all. And so when a man can actually be grounded and secure within himself, that that will allow for the natural growth of a relationship to begin to occur.
What talking, listening to you, what do you think is one of the biggest obstacles, or what's preventing a man from knowing himself? Is it that they don't take the time, or is it maybe, like you said, they had a complex prior to that's preventing them?
Um, Generally, I think it's a scary place to be because we don't know how to do it. We haven't seen our fathers maybe go down that road, or we don't know too many people that we look up to that have done that as well. So it's like, well, how do you even do that? How do you begin to know who you are? Like, what do I do? And for me, the first things I say to men if I start coaching them is get out a sheet of paper and a pen, have two columns, write down the aspects of the man that you don't want to be and the aspects of the man that you want to be. And then every day when you get up, say, what kind of man am I going to be today? Am I going to be that man? And whenever you get in, and when you have that presence of mind, when you ask yourself that, when you get into situations in your day, you can stop yourself and go, the man that I want to be, what will he do? It's almost like, what would Jesus do? But it's
That's
like, what would I do? The man that I want to be, I'm in a situation where I typically get very angry. I don't want to do that anymore. So what does the man that I want to be, what would he do now? And so then you start to make these little changes. You start to change the dials in your life. And then before you know it, you are a completely different man.
right.
But
What?
it takes presence of mind and to be self-aware and to create the kind of emotional language and maturity to actually own our crap, own the mistakes, and to be honest with ourselves.
Why do men struggle with feelings? Why do men struggle with emotions? Is it a
Because
is it a mind frame or
we feel it's weak. We think vulnerability is a sign of weakness, if we'll use that as an example. But actually the vulnerability piece is very powerful because it takes strength to be vulnerable. It's
right,
easy to be weak and soft and complacent. It's easy to be that way, but to be vulnerable, that takes courage, and it takes honesty in yourself, and it takes a certain level of um yeah, emotional strength to stay in a place of vulnerability, and so that is very scary.
I get it. I hate how I hate the outlook of it's weak. That I'm not being strong if I get in my emotions or if I even know how to deal with my emotions. I feel like it causes just not even just in relationships with a female, just in friendships. If a person
Mm,
don't know how to handle their emotions, you can damage any relationship that you have, being with a parent, your child, or a friend. And
yeah.
I wish more men would accept that it's okay to be emotional and it's accept the path of learning to deal with your emotions.
Hmm.
I really think that's important. Do you find joy in being a life coach?
Absolutely. Yeah, fully, more and more.
More and more, do you is there ever any times that you have to look out for help as far as maybe another life coach or maybe a therapist or counselor?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, and I have different men and different women that I know that are close to me that I can talk to and share and unload and vent and ask for guidance or direction. But getting back to before we go any further, getting back to the vulnerability piece is when we can say to ourselves, the man that I want to become, however that looks and however he expresses himself, has nothing to do with anybody else around me because it's for me.
Right.
And it's too bad that my vulnerability makes them uncomfortable. That just shows that they aren't at that same place that I'm at. And so to really pin that down, it's like it's not about anybody else but me. This is who I am. This is who I've chosen to be on this earth. And it's a hero's journey, and a lot of people will see us and misunderstand us because we are different and we stand up for things or we speak in a way that is different, and we share when you express your emotions in ways that most men don't. That's the hero's journey, but there are rewards and challenges that strengthen us and make us better men, and the world needs men like that.
Yes, like we talked about with the change going on, not just in America, just around the world in general. We
Yeah.
need more men that's in touch. That could be in touch with their emotional side and
Yeah,
be more vulnerable and be understanding of it. I wanted to ask you. This is a very personal question for me. You said something about venting, and you said you have friends that you are close with that you can vent with. How do you feel about venting about your relationship to your family members? Do you think
Family,
that
like a
will
brother,
go
like a
ahead.
brother, like a brother or sister or a parent, or like would be, can you be more specific?
Brother, sister, parent, cousins, anyone that you that's in your family member, and you tell me them talking about your significant other, and you, of course, you most of the time people vent, they come to talking about the bad. They don't always share the good. Do you feel like that is a bad thing to vent to your family, or is it okay if the family can handle it?
Um, Family is a good safe haven for many things. I personally would not go that way. I would want to have other people that I could vent to about my relationship that would be able to be more neutral. And because, and that may not even know the person I'm involved with that well as well. Because if you're in a relationship, the family will have likely met your partner, and you would want to avoid any kind of judgment. You, even though we say, totally no judgment, I want to hear what you have to say, you can vent all you want, no judgment, there still will be something there. And I think to keep that clean and pristine within the family, as it relates to the relationship that you're in, i think I think it'd be best to find someone that you could have that venting with, that isn't a relative.
I mean that does make sense. I just, for me, I guess for me personally, when I'm looking at it, as far as my family venting to me, is that I think it's a goal to be able to separate the two. To, to know that, okay, yes, you're going through this situation and you're coming to me to talk about it. But when I'm around your significant other or your partner, I can't look at them no different. I can't treat them no different because, like I said at the beginning, we don't always tell the good. The good ain't always shared. Yeah, and we don't also tell our bad. We only tell what they're doing wrong. So I guess I don't. I guess it's for me personally, and I guess to everybody is different. To each their own, as the saying goes.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I just feel like I can handle it, but I do
Hmm.
get your point as the way of saying, hey, it might be a little dicey when we all come like for Thanksgiving. There now you get side eyes giving look.
Yeah.
So
Well, too, it's a lot of times we will go to the people that we deep down know will give us the answers we want to hear. And a lot of times that can be family, because sometimes family can't be, well, it goes both ways. They can either be really ruthless and tell you really how it is about yourself as well, but they can also not tell you how they really feel because you are related to them. So I feel that having a neutral party can be, have the type of vision on what you're talking about and be able to call you out on something as well as the person that you're talking about, because sometimes we can get kind of connect when we're emotionally connected to the people we love, then it's harder.
yes, that's true. And it's hard to separate. It is hard
Yeah.
to separate too, but I don't know. I guess, like I said, for some people, it might be easier. It is. It is something that you said that I do want to touch on. Knowing. I want to make sure I word this correctly. Going venting to certain people. You talked about they gonna give you the answer that they want to hear. Is it wrong that I know who's gonna give me the answer I want to hear, and I go to them to, maybe do the action that probably ain't the best, that might cause some problems down the line?
You'll know, you'll already know the outcome, and it'll just soothe your ego. And because you won't have to do any work. Because if you go to somebody and you vent and they say, well, I can see right now there are some things that you're doing that you shouldn't be, that are wrong, and that's part of the reason why you're venting, is it's you're also adding to the reason why you're venting. Your party, there are two parties involved in this thing that you're upset about, and you're just as culpable. And so it's like, wow, then it's like, now what are you going to do with that? Are you going to work on it? Are you going to work through it and resolve it and talk to the person? Or are you just looking for something, a soothing of your soul and your emotions, so that you don't have to do the work, but you, at least you vented? The act of venting there has to be a reason and a purpose for it, not just to feel good. It has to take you to growth and change.
Got you. I always tell my mother about. I have a cousin, my cousin Rashida. I always vent to her when I like I said, I want to hear that I'm right. Because 9 times out of 10, she's gonna tell me I'm right. She's
Yeah.
not gonna give me, and I wanna, ask for advice on how I should handle a situation. And I know that's not best, and it's not the smart thing to do. But sometimes you want to hear that you're right.
Well, on a positive side to that is venting is good because you get it out as well. And it's at least you're not holding it in and not talking to no one. It's better to get that out and to vent it, whether it's coming from a place where it's a little bit dishonest because you already know who you're talking to is going to tell you what you want to hear, but venting it and getting it out is healthy as well. And that's a journey, and eventually you'll muster up enough stuff to say, I'm going to go to this person who I don't want to hear their answer, but I'm ready to. I think I need to because I'm ready for some more growth. And so that's good.
Yeah, that person is my sister. I never want to hear what she's gonna say because she's gonna give me the uncomfortable truth. She's
Yeah.
gonna lay it out on me cold, and she
Yeah.
don't hold back, which I wish she would because I'm her little brother. But
Yeah. Yeah.
before we get out of here, I definitely want to talk about your book. Uh,
Sure.
like I said, you not only are you a life coach, you are an author. So the title of the book is "Words Women Love." Helping is it helping men awake in a sleeping society?
That was just a byline. The byline on the book is A Man's Guide to Romantic Expression, and I have a
Okay,
copy of the book here so people can see it.
okay, thank you.
Uh, and yeah, so the book was written about 3 years ago this winter, and I had been writing a lot of romantic prose for quite a few years, and I started posting them on my Facebook, and someone had suggested, excuse me, someone suggested you should put those in a book. Those are really good. And so I combed all my posts that I was putting all these romantic prose on, and I had close to 100. And so I thought there's enough there for a book. And so I thought, well, I do relationship coaching, life coaching. I'll add to that, things about relationships, some thoughts and advice maybe, or just stories that will help round out the book because a lot of men don't know where to start. And so if they have an example, it's like, okay, that's what it looks like. That's how it sounds. Okay, I could do that. I could write something like that, or I can begin to express myself in a more romantic way in the relationship I'm in. I've never really done it before, but now I can see it, what it looks like. Okay, I can do that. So that's really what it was for. That what I found is most women are the ones buying the book and they're the ones that are loving it, but it was really meant for men or couples, for men to read it with their spouse or girlfriend. Um, so yeah, and it's on Amazon, and it really is about, you know, it's about connecting our heart. It's about when we speak, is our heart open as we're speaking, and our the things that we're talking about in relationship and in our romance and our language we use in the person that we care about, does it carry with it us that the underlying spirit of love and acceptance and joy and nourishing and giving, and is it doing that? So, and that's what I wanted this book to do, is to begin to help men see there's another language they can be using that can be really exciting in a relationship.
Do you have a favorite quote from the book that
Do
you
I
would
have
like
a
to share?
favorite quote?
That you would like to share with the people tonight?
Um, yeah, I can read. It's on the back of the book. It was one of the first ones I wrote,
Okay.
and it goes like this. Um, the lighting's kind of odd, but I'll give it a go. Her kisses come like slow moving blues, deep, aching, passionate. Sorry, I can't read this. Just a minute.
It's all
Uh,
good. It's all good.
a note that's carried from measure to measure, and my mind is blown at her soul song. In the moment she takes a mournful breath, my heart is taken from me. Fall between her no, fall between her rests and feel her rhythm. I thought I was in control, but all the while her invisible cord wrapped around me and held me there. I am a mess of a man under her spell.
Hey, it's a that is a beautiful quote.
Thank
I
you.
actually, like I said, I can relate to that one because I am a mess of a man. But we do tend to get under a spell of a woman,
We
and,
do. We really do.
there a lot of a lot of time a great woman will help a man out in so many different ways. Not
Hmm.
just be the from the way you act to the way you dress to the way you talk to the way you carry yourself.
Hmm.
It all like you said, but that also goes back to knowing yourself.
Yeah.
But one more time, tell the people the name, the title of the book, and where they can
It's
get it.
word. It's called Words Women Love by William John Scheltema, and it is on Amazon, U.S. and Canada, and Australia and the UK. So
All right, all right. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time on this
no
evening.
problem.
I
No problem.
I greatly appreciate you taking the time out, and it was an honor to have you on the podcast.
Oh, I loved it. I enjoyed talking about the things that you were asking, and it's a passionate of mine. And yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, yes, sir. And like I will have your people, I will have his link, the link to his book in the bio below. So, hey, as always, thank y'all for tuning in to Hold Up in Another Thing, presented by Mixed Vibes Media. We're gonna catch y'all the next time.